I start saying much more, I just want to say I'm so thankful Susan is here, because she called me yesterday. I hadn't left Vermont yet, and she said, I might not make it back from Kansas. And I said, what do you mean you might not make it back from Kansas? I don't think this is a good thing. So all the way from Vermont, my partner who was chauffeuring me had to listen to me practice my remarks one of two ways, one with Susan, one without Susan. So I'm really glad that she's just here to say it her own way, because it makes me feel a lot better. Susan and I have been working together for about 5 years on the project that we'll tell you a little bit more about at the end of our presentation, called Parents as Collaborative Leaders. And really, as Susan said, we've been just really interested in the idea of how parents can tap into their own voices, their own understanding of their child, and then bring it to a somewhat greater leadership level, although we really define leadership in many, many ways. Often when we first meet parents and say, hey, we want you to join us in this kind of leadership venture, they'll say to us, I think you might have picked the wrong parent. I didn't really want, I don't know if that's what I want to do. Or more likely they say, I don't know if I'm a leader. And while we recognize that not every parent is going to take on a huge leadership role that takes them far outside of their family, we do believe that actually all of you who are parents are leaders. And there are a lot of reasons for this. One is that on the day you first know you have a child with a disability, you're a leader. I think that just by virtue of the fact that you recognize your parenting experience is going to be a bit different from your friends, your neighbors, your sister, your brother, your mother, that takes you down a new path, and that is, in fact, a path of leadership. When you go to your first meeting, wherever that is, in your doctor's office, at your school, your preschool, and you start talking about your child with a disability, you're becoming a leader, because you're starting to give words to that inner voice that says, I know what my child wants, I know what my hopes and dreams are for my child. And so as you become more specific and get better at advocating for your child, you're becoming a leader. If you choose to take leadership to another level, to collaborate with other parents in your school, in your community, and take some of your ideas to the educational world, the medical world, the human services world, wherever, you are also becoming a leader, because you're contributing to the practices that we're developing and all the many ways in which, hopefully, as a profession, we get better and better at supporting you and your children. And finally, parents who go and get involved at the policy level are really helping to bring about, as we'll talk about later, new laws, new ways of doing things, new understandings. We've come a long way since Perkins started offering services 180 years ago, and that's because of parent leadership. And I like to think, too, that really at the root of it all, our kids are our leaders. So no matter what level of leadership you end up participating in, it's because you have a child with a disability that you're a leader. And our kids really are our source of inspiration. Every day, those of you who are parents are waking up and finding new challenges and finding solutions, and that's leadership. And I think all of us together in this room and in our collective work are really changing the world in lots of ways and bringing a different view of the world and a different view of how we can be more inclusive, more inviting, and support one another. So whether or not we choose to take on a formal leadership role, really everybody here is the leader, and we really believe in that very strongly.